Is it possible to do singing games while distance learning? Why, yes. Yes, it is. If you are seriously missing your singing games and your normal stuff, then you are in the right place, because today we're talking about elementary music singing games that you can use on Zoom, and frankly that you can also use if you're teaching in school but 6 feet away. They will work both ways because it's kind of like similar restrictions. So we're gonna talk through different categories. I'm gonna give you like 4 different categories of like types of singing games, and then I'll give you a bunch of different songs specifically that you can use for each one, and it's gonna be a great time. So if you are excited, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. Before we get started, I do want to mention that I have a free PDF download that you can get. I will link it down below, and it has a whole bunch of Zoom lesson ideas, including a whole section about singing games that are, some are different than the ones on here because some of these I have learned since I wrote that, so these are newer. Also, I will give a little plug to my book, Virtual Music Lessons for Teaching Music Online. It also has lots of singing games that are not necessarily the same ones that are in here, and a whole bunch of other ideas and lessons that you can use in your classroom tomorrow or whenever you get it from Amazon. So I will leave the link to the free PDF and to the book down below. You can grab it on Amazon or get the ebook. And with that, let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start with, ooh, which one should we start with? Let's start with movement. Movement's a great place to start. So we're gonna start with movement. Specifically when students get to pick the movement. That's kind of when I decide that it's like a game. I call it a game when the kids get to pick a movement. So this is probably the easiest place to start. Movement is something kids can do whether they are on the screen or if they're 6 feet apart in their spot, and it's pretty easy to do. So a couple of my favorites, obviously this is not like all of them, but a couple of my favorites. One is just simply Rain Rain Go Away. This I don't think normally has movement, but what we do with it is I use this with my 1st graders and 2nd graders, and we keep the steady beat on different places of our body, and somebody gets to pick where we're gonna keep it, and whoever picks gets to put their name in to the song. So instead of little Johnny, we'll say whoever it is. So we're basically just mirroring them. And if you for some reason don't know Rain Rain Go Away, it goes rain rain go away, come again another day, little Johnny wants to play, rain rain go away. And then we just put whoever's name into that is guiding us through our movements. Super simple, super easy, teaches law, all the good things. Number 2 is more for slightly older kids, so like 2nd and 3rd grade is my favorite for this, and that is Did You Ever See a Lassie? This one was new to me this year, and it's so good. So the song goes, did you ever see a lassie, a lassie, a lassie? Did you ever see a lassie move this way and that, move this way and that way and this way and that way? Did you ever see a lassie move this way and that? So what we do for this one is, again, somebody gets to pick what movements we do, and so at the beginning we just sway back and forth for did you ever see a lassie, a lassie, a lassie, did you ever? Yeah, that part. And then when it says this way and that way and this way and that way, then they get to pick whatever movements they want. So we're doing like all sorts of super funky things, and it's a great time. All right, the next one, I recently saw someone use this with little kids. I always use it with like 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and that is Pizza Pizza Daddy-O. Now I have a whole video about this song, so I will leave the link down below if you want like more information. But basically there's like a dance, and I don't want to stand up and do it now, so I'll just show you with my hands. So this is what your feet are doing. Your feet go cross out, together. For the part that goes Pizza Pizza Daddy-O. Again, if you need more information, watch the video. But what happens is you have somebody gets to lead, and they get to pick different actions that you're going to do. So the first part, you put whoever's in it. So if I'm going first, then it's gonna go, Miss Davis has a friend, Pizza Pizza Daddy-O, how do I know it? Pizza Pizza Daddy-O, because she told me, Pizza Pizza Daddy-O. And then the second part, whoever's name was in there gets to pick actions that they do. We usually do 2, so they'll pick, like, we might pick snap it and clap it, and then the last one's always gonna be end it. So what's gonna happen is that person usually sings by themselves for this part, on Zoom, I told them I can do it if they don't want to do it because it's just weird. But so that person would say, let's snap it. And everyone sings, snap it, daddy-o. Let's clap it, daddy-o. Let's end it, daddy-o. Typically on that part, the person is spinning around, pointing, and whoever they land on is the next person to go, you know, like in a circle. But we just sing, let's end it, and then I just pick somebody else to go next. So that's Pizza Pizza Daddy-o. And the last one for this category, although again, there's like 75 bajillion, would be Mama Llama. So this one I also like for like second, third grade, especially third grade at the beginning of the year is kind of like my sweet spot for it. And so for this one, usually we go tap and then we tap each other in a circle. But since we're online, we just did down, up, down, up. So it goes Mama Llama, Kuma La Pizza. Mama Llama, Kuma La Pizza. Oh no, 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 La Pizza. Oh no, 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 La Pizza. The second part is when whoever is it gets to pick the silly actions that we're going to do. And I'm gonna try to get these words right, but no guarantee. Goes Annie, Manny, Dixa, Panny, Oompa, Aloopa, Manny, Okeechobee, Ava, Wachi, XYZ. Oh, it was actually right. Okay, good job. So during that part, usually I would have the kid go to the circle, but obviously that's not happening. So we just have them and decide what we're gonna do. And usually we get like as silly as possible because it's a silly song. It's got silly words and it's just fun. So highly recommend that one for like second and third grade. All right, so there are my movement songs. So the next one we're gonna do is songs where you are either chasing or that you get out like by the steady beat. So obviously these are like the two that everyone was like, we can't do singing games because they're like the most common ones that happen. And you can't do either of those online because, you know, we can't do like duck duck goose type games and we can't chase each other and we can't pass the beat around. So a couple of things that I have found that have worked instead. We actually did one today where usually it's a partner stealing game and whoever's left over would be out. For this one instead, where we just walked around while the song was on, at the end you stopped, and then I would spin Wheel of Names. So wheelofnames.com, you can add the kids' names in and then you spin it and then it will just tell you who's out. So we just did that at the end and it would say this person's out. They would sit down for a couple of rounds and then I'd have them stand back up. And so that's an easy way you can do it. Another way is if you're on Zoom, you can like tap on each of their screens and whoever's out can sit down, or you can have them turn their camera off so you can see who's in or who's out. You could also have like their names on a list and point that way. So those are a couple of different ways that you can do that. So a couple of my favorite ones for this is anything that is like a Duck Duck Goose type game. So one that's great is Charlie Over the Ocean. This is an echo song. So it goes Charlie over the ocean, Charlie over the ocean, Charlie over the sea, Charlie over the sea, Charlie caught a blackbird, Charlie caught a blackbird, can't catch me, can't catch me. I love that one with third grade. And then another good like beat passing one would be BB Bumblebee, which goes BB Bumblebee stung a man upon his knee, stung a pig upon his snout. I declare that you are out. For older kids, you can do a quack-quack. A quack-quack goes, quack-quack de la oma, quack-quack-quack, del si ma trico, trico, trico la, follow, 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 follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And usually whoever you land on 5 is the person who would be out. So those are a couple of different ways that you can do it. Another fun way you can do this, another fun way that you can do beat passing games and stuff like that is to have kids kind of like choose one side or another. So we did kind of a similar thing today with the song Kookaburra, which I'll talk about in a second. But basically the kids picked one of 4 different animals that are in Australia. And then at the end, I spun a wheel and it went to one of those 4 and whoever was in that category would sit out. So those are a couple of different ways you can do it in a couple of different songs. And yeah, singing, like solo singing. So you can still do this on Zoom. It's actually really easy. Just have one kid unmute. And so a few of my favorites would be the Charlie Over the Ocean that I just sang. Another one is Doggy Doggy Where's Your Bone, which goes Doggy Doggy Where's Your Bone, someone stole it from my home. Who stole your bone? I stole your bone. Everyone sings Doggy Doggy, Where's Your Bone? The kid who is the doggy sings Someone Stole It From My Home. Everyone says Who Stole Your Bone? And then one person that you pick says I stole your bone. On Zoom, this is great because you can private message kids, so you can tell them who is going to be the one who's stole their bone and all of that. Just make sure that whoever's the doggy has their eyes closed because they're going to guess who that person was, and if they have their eyes open they can see who unmuted. So that's a really easy way to do that one. Just have them again unmute. And another singing game I love is Brown Bear, What Do You See? That goes along with the book, obviously, and you sing it to the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. This song goes, Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. So what you do is everyone sings the first part, Brown Bear, what do you see? And then just the kid who, usually we do it with stuffed animals or with like cards, they would sing the second part. So they would look at the Zoom and see somebody else that they see and call that one. Two ways you can do that. One, you can have the kids bring their stuffed animals, which they would love, to the Zoom and have it done that way. So then they can call, like if a kid's holding a unicorn, then they'll say like, I see a unicorn looking at me. And then everyone would sing, unicorn, what do you see? The other option that I like a little better for Zoom, because then it's not awkward if like a kid doesn't have a stuffed animal or they're like sitting in the car or something weird like that, then you can sing their names. So you could just sing, David, what do you see? I see Jamal looking at me. Jamal, what do you see? And that's like a really good way, especially at the beginning of the year. It's not the beginning of the year anyway, but it would be fun anyway, you know? So another really easy like solo singing kind of song. All right, and now our last category is my favorite category, and that is freeze dance or freeze walk. We love freeze dance in my classroom, and I know some people have issues with it, but I and we do freeze dance all the time. So freeze dance is easy because you can just have the kids dance and then freeze. And then if they move, they're out. We'll talk about a couple of different ways to do that in a second, but a couple of my favorites for this, grizzly bear. So for this one, I have one kid pretend to be the bear and they sleep while we are singing. At the end, they jump up and they eat anybody who's moving. So they look around, and if someone's moving, they go like that, and then that person would be out. So grizzly bear goes, grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he'll get very mad. So that is the grizzly bear song. Super cute. We use it for dynamics. It also has a half note, which makes it really great. I can use it in first grade for dynamics and then in second grade for half note. And it's always a crowd favorite. So that's a fun one. The second one is We Are Dancing, also known as Wolf. This is a new one to me this year, but I love it. It's one of my new favorites, and it goes, we are dancing in the forest and the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if he finds us at our play. So for this one, again, it literally says we are dancing. So we dance and then at the end we freeze and the wolf eats you if you're out. I did not have a kid play the wolf for this one, but you totally could. Same kind of deal. Easy peasy. Anyway, next up is Kookaburra. So I got this idea from my friend Emily over at Joyful Noise Teaching, and she suggested singing the Kookaburra song and then pretending like you are an animal in the Australian zoo, and the zookeeper comes around, and if the zookeeper sees you at the end, then you get in trouble and get put back in your cage. I don't know. So we're doing this in third grade this week. And Kookaburra goes, Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, gay your life must be. So for this one, we have done it two different ways now. So one, we didn't do like freeze dance. What we did is we pretended to be different animals. So like at first we were like sea turtles, and then we were koalas climbing the tree, and then we were kangaroos hopping around. And at the end they had to freeze. If the zookeeper sees you, then you're out. And then today we did it again because I see my students every day for a week. And so today we did it a little bit differently, where we sang the song, and they had to pick one of 4 different Australian animals. So either a kangaroo, a koala, a turtle, or a kookaburra. And a kookaburra is a bird, by the way. So they would act them out while we were singing. So like kookaburra is a bird, or kangaroo, or turtle, or koala climbing the tree. And then at the end, I spun a spinner on that wheel of names, and it had one of those 4, and if it hit the one you were on, so like if you were doing the kangaroo hop and it hit kangaroo, then you would be out. So it's kind of like 4 corners, and I plan to use it as 4 corners when we go back in person, but it worked well in their seats because they were all picking different things, and it was just fun. And y'all, 3rd graders love to pretend to be animals. Can we just say that? Like, we've had so much fun this year pretending to be animals. It's been great. And the last one is a little bit for older kids. Oh, this went really nicely. It went like 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and then like 4th and 5th. This is one I like to use when we are learning about composers. So typically we'll like learn about a composer, and then we'll listen to their song, and we'll pretend that we are composer statues. So it's really the same thing. It's called Museum, by the way, if you have never played this game. It's amazing. Where the kids have to be statues, and one person is the museum night guard. They walk around. Usually they walk around. You're probably gonna have to have them sit in one spot. Usually they would walk around, but on digital, they're just gonna look, and if anybody's moving, then they would be out. So I like to do this where I will play the song that we're learning from different composers, and you can even like make it really fancy and like put a composer picture up and play that person's song, and then freeze it, and then they have to like pretend to be composers. So they could even pretend to like play different instruments. All sorts of fun things you can do. All right, friends, there's like a bajillion more, but we're gonna stop there. Hopefully that gave you a couple of ideas to last you. I am hopeful that we're kind of like on the out of distance learning, but people keep asking me for distance learning tips, so I'm here to give them to you. If you need more distance learning tips, don't forget to grab my book. I will leave it linked down below, as well as anything I have for any of these. So like I have a lot of videos. Like I have a video about Pizza Daddy-O. I have a video about grizzly bear, and just lots of different stuff. So I'll leave anything I have a link to, I will link down below. So if you're curious about something, look below, and if you don't see it, comment and be like, hey, where'd you get this from? And then I can give you something. And so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to know your favorite singing games to use on Zoom down below, so leave that in the comments, because I'm looking for new things, because I'm still like, we're still distance learning. We're actually hybrid half the week and distance learning half the week, so we just get all the fun now. Thank you guys. So I would really appreciate any input from you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.